Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is Friday, January 21st, 10 a.m. Eastern, 1500 UTC. Welcome to Meanfi Community AMA. Like every Friday, we get together here to answer everybody's questions, give a little update of what we've been up to in the last week, and what we are going to be up to in the upcoming week. So lots of exciting things as always to share. Today, you're going to have to apologize this manly voice that I have grown to. I am down with a little bit of, I don't know if it's flu, COVID, or something, but hopefully I'm on the way out of it right now. But yeah, so you're gonna have to bear with me with my weird sounding voice today. Thankfully, I have the support of Adele Rivera, the CTO, here with me, and Mylene Ramirez, also our lead of product, here with us in the channel, and Tariq, the leader of the Meanfi community. So thank you all for joining me, and let's get this baby started. All right. So that they were going to say hello. So
hello, everybody.
I was giving a little bit of room in here. It's like suspense. Okay. All right. All right. So let's get started here with what. So I think that the theme for this last week has been mostly around we're hiring like crazy. So like this past few, like the last couple of weeks, we're in the process of setting up all of the working groups, setting up all of the leadership around the working groups, hiring across the board on almost every single area of the business. By the way, we still have a lot of openings. So if you are really talented and you like what we're doing, please feel free to reach out. We're going to be publishing also a careers portal as well. So kind of like to set up the tone and the contrast. We have positions that are exclusive to the DAO that are not permanent. Basically, there are DAO contracts on a work for hire perspective, and then we have more permanent positions. So we have kind of openings for both of them happening right now. So yeah, lots of opportunity right now in the middle of our growth. So keep your eyes open for that. In addition to that, I think that just in general, this week was a week that we did a lot of work around preparation and kind of like documentation gathering and security prep in anticipation for some of the audits that are incoming or that are in the middle of happening right now. Because we recently did the version 2 for our money streams and DDCAs. So there's a lot of basically new audits that are happening or that are about to start. So that's that. I'm sure that Adele will have some comments around that area. And other than that, I think that we have on the community side, Tariq and the ambassadors and all the leadership on the DAO community have started already. They have already put together quite an extensive agenda of activities that are going to be happening at with the community, which is really exciting. Lots of new games, competitions. So lots of things happening on that end as well. So that's kind of like in a broad sense what's been going on. Next week we have also a lot of different activities. It's a little bit kind of like more of the same, except that we probably going to be making some announcements around product because we're wrapping up a few interesting tidbits that are going to go live in the next week. Mylene will probably get to cover a little bit of that. Yeah, some exciting product announcements coming out soon, and yeah, so this time of like doing the security updates and or doing the the audits, it's a time where we don't do a whole lot of changes in the back end, but we try to focus on the front end and on the application, and you're going to see that a lot of like little tweaks and improvements and user experience enhancements are going to go live in the next few days. So again, this week is going to be the oncoming week. It's going to be very very exciting and very fun from that aspect. I don't know if you saw, but we have a new DAO that adopted money streams for their emissions and distributions, and that is the Great Protocol. They are longtime friends. We love them and loved everything they do. If you have not, follow them on Twitter or join their Discord. Please do so. You will be missing out. They are one of the most engaging DAOs in all of Solana. They have an amazing product. We use them here for security and human validation on MeanDAO. Their team is amazing. Tariq is also part of that DAO. So we have a lot of common pieces between the two of us, and we're super psyched that they're doing all of their distributions using our money streams. We have a few more like that are going to be kind of like being announced in the incoming weeks as well. So stand by for that. Very, very excited about that partnership as well. What else? Let's go through some metrics, shall we, and see how we're doing on different areas. I'm going to start off on Discord and how many new members. Let's see. On this last week, we got 2,796 new members. Some of them were like 29 of them only were discovered, meaning not referred by anybody. 1,301 were through some invite, and 1,466 were through the vanity URL that we have, which is so that means that they probably landed on the website or in some other place, and that's how they got to us. So welcome the almost 2,800 new members on Discord. Welcome. We had a little bit of exodus too. 1,000. What is this? So 1,900 members that either were kicked out or exited the server. So we have our ambassadors always doing a good job at keeping things clean inside. So we had a net additions of about 1,000 people in the server. Let's see, how is the engagement going? Engagement is about the same. It looks pretty flat from last week. Actually, a little bit down. So last week we were at 14,000 new visitors. This week is 13,053. So, but percentage-wise, it's about the same. 31.6% of communication. So we kept pretty flat on that from that aspect. We have done so the total messages sent also went a little bit down, 9.8% down, minus 7,684 messages compared to last week. So a little bit less communication. I think that all of these things are going to start kind of like improving a lot now that the ambassadors are going to start engaging in some of these new activities. So I look forward to next week to seeing some green on this metrics dashboard. Let's take a look at the audience. The audience kind of remains unaltered on, roughly speaking, we're looking at the same percentages. Turkey continues to be the biggest part of our server. 22% is actually went up a little bit. So it was at 20%, 20 point something percent. Now we're 22%. Turkey, Korea 11%, Nigeria 10%, Indonesia 9%, Vietnam 8%, Russia 7%, India 6%, USA 6%, and UA 4%. All the other countries are kind of like lump sum into the other category. Always that I like to point out that especially the Korean percentage, it looks like there's a lot of Chinese citizens that do VPN through Korea, and like they probably get accounted through that. So I'm not sure exactly how to divide that metric, or I'm not sure that there's a way to account for China in there. But I guess that's as detailed as we can get into this area. The split is about the three-way even, like 38, 33, and 30% in between desktop, mobile, desktop only, and mobile only. So that remains kind of unaltered, pretty even in there. We got about 603 total server follows. A lot higher actually. Like a lot of people are subscribing to our announcement channels. Looks like 200. What is this? 225 new followers to the announcement channel. That's okay. I guess like this is just people wanting to know what's going on, which is good. That's it. That's basically our Discord metrics, our community metrics. Let's take a look at Twitter, shall we? So in the last 28 day period on Twitter, we had 1.7 million impressions. That has still come down. Let's take a look at the last 7 days. About 120,000 impressions in the last 7-day period. Engagement has gone down a little bit, but not by much actually. So the engagement rate of the top tweets been around 8%, down from 9.8%. So a little bit down, but not too much. So that's about that. 120,000 impressions in the last 7 days. We're doing fairly okay in there. We need to do a new announcement on Twitter. The ambassadors have created a new dedicated Twitter account exclusively to keep track of the events that they're creating, right? So that we don't have to be polluting the main account with a lot of content that has to do with DAO event and participation. So I highly encourage all of you to follow that. Probably a little bit later today, we're going to be tweeting about that account. I'm not sure, Tariq, but like maybe we should put it as part of the like in the description of the main account, or add that somewhere in the official thing. So we'll figure out. But the idea is that account is not necessarily to do any type of communications, but rather to inform the community about the ongoing events that we have on the DAO and on the community. Okay, so keep an eye out for that, because that's going to be a lot more useful to also be following that account if you want to be engaging with us at the DAO level. What else am I missing here? Let me think about here. From the total accounts, so unique accounts, today we are 157,006. So we went up by 2,000 accounts, give or take, in the last week. That is about a 1.8% increase. Relatively speaking, I know that there's a ton of accounts that are dormant there, so we need to find a better metric to determine growth that is more relative to the active accounts rather than to the total accounts. So we're working on that metrics dashboard. We're going to have probably over the next 2 weeks, we're going to have a dedicated stats page that is going to be coming out. There's going to have a whole bunch of metrics for everybody. Metrics around the token, metrics around the usage of the application, metrics about what are the other ones? Mylene, help me out here. What are the other ones here? Let me open up.
I think we talk about the token holders.
The metrics dashboard.
Yeah, the number of transactions, fees collection.
Yeah, we have so it's three main groups of metrics. I just had to open up the thread because I didn't remember from the top of my head. So there's like basically mean token stats, application stats, Meanfi application stats, and when we say about mean token stats, we're gonna talk about like having a single place where you can go and take a look at price, number of holders, transaction volume, total supply, circulating supply, et cetera, all in one single place. So you don't have to be jumping around in the different explorers and try to figure things out on 20 different areas. The second group of stats that we're building there are Meanfi application stats. So again, transaction volume over time, unique wallets over time, TVL per contract over time. We have 3 contracts live in production right now. We're soon going to have 5 contracts live in production. So like, there's a lot of different things that are kind of hard to keep track of, and want to try to have a central place so you can take a look at everything that's going on across all of our contracts, top trading pairs, total TVL, aggregate, all of those things are going to be there. And the last piece is everything about DAO treasury, right? So everything that has to do with the money that we receive, money that is distributed out, treasury balances, emissions, governing, multi-sigs, all of those things. Again, like that page of things going to it's going to help a lot with the transparency and answering a lot of questions that come repeatedly, that we have to answer repeatedly. So we're trying to not have to answer that so often, and basically direct everybody to the metrics page. So give us a couple of weeks of that. We're starting next week. We're going to have a dedicated resource that's going to be working on that exclusively. So that's going to be a very positive development for everybody. All right. So. And it's going to make these meetings also a lot easier, because we're going to be able to, basically go to the same spot and regurgitate what everybody can see, and everybody can kind of like follow us, side by side. All right. I think that is a wrap. It is 10:20 or 10:17 right now. Before we jump into the before we jump into the AMA questions, start answering questions from the AMA channel. Mylene, anything that you want to cover and add up here from this week or upcoming week?
So basically, related with product, what we have coming up, I'm sure you mentioned already the stats page, which I think is going to help us a lot. You mentioned it already, so no point for me to cover that. But coming up, we have changes or new things related with business vaults and multi-signature. So we'll be talking about having some CFO-like control access for corporate funds, that they can use transfer vaults that can be audited. And basically, we're working on this. And the ultimate goal, I think, we talked about to integrate this with the SP governance program. And it will be hopefully coming up soon, either in the next week or the next couple of weeks, I would say, just to be safe on that. We mentioned before that we need to start working on the staking pools or staking program. So that will be another coming up hopefully soon feature. And besides that, we have several bug fixes that we've done, kind of like catching up with things that have been reported in the help desk. So we always appreciate everybody to just give us support and just present anything that it might be not working properly or having some hiccups and stuff like that. And some of them that we covered already had to do with the exchange and the different swaps that were not working exactly like as they were supposed to, like with MERP, PRT tokens and Prism tokens. I think those swaps were kind of like finicky, so we ultimately fixed them up, and they should be good to go. There were some issues with very old streams, like version 1, or kind of like, I would say older than version 1, so very, very old streams that were having some trickiness there when trying to close the streams or trying to make withdrawals. So those things are being tackled already and deployed to production. And what else we had with regards to bugs that comes to mind? I think those kind of were majority of the things that we're finding.
Cool. You mentioned something that I want to. You also mentioned something that it reminded me of something here. So we have been scheduled now for a little over a month to have our POL protocol on liquidity access by the end of January. So it was scheduled for the last week of January. That has been moved 2 weeks further, and it doesn't depend on us. This has to do with the partner that we're launching this with is going through the middle is in the middle of their audit. And they need to delay that for 2 weeks. So it's going to be right around February 15th was yesterday. We got the news on that. So it's a little delay on the protocol on liquidity piece for that, right? Notwithstanding, the plan is to launch the staking a little before that. We're not going to wait until February 15th to launch a staking. But there's that part, right? So we wanted to launch both of them together, protocol on liquidity, staking, and locking. So those three mechanisms, we wanted to have them together so that people can basically ladder up their investments by first doing the POL. They get a discount over the token. Then after the bond matures, they can collect the token and put it in the staking, and if they want to, they can lock it and get even more rewards from that. Because of the delay with our partner, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be pushing the staking piece a little bit earlier. Probably first week of February, we'll have a week where everybody will be able to stake, but not bond. So the bonding will come, a week later. Not a big deal, but I thought that want to share that. It's kind of like hot development on that. All right. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Miley, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No. I think that was great. I think that furthermore, we've been doing or continue working on security testing and unit testing. We just want to make sure that our programs have the ultimate or the best security possible, and also getting ready for the upcoming audits that have been happening in the next few weeks or so. I think that's kind of like what I have here on my list. I don't know if I'm missing something else. But Aiden, I'm sure that you have a few other stuff that you want to go over. And if I recall anything, I will just bring it up after.
Yeah, just along that line you just mentioned, after we kick off the airdrop, and we've been working intensively in prepping our programs to be ready for the upcoming audits. This is a most weighted milestone we want to accomplish, and finally this year we have the we have one of them programmed for the second week of February, and the other one will be running from the end of February to end of March. So I'm guessing by the end of March we will have completed that goal, which is something that we've been looking for a long time. So yeah, the team is been working intensively on prepping everything for that. We don't need to wait to have an audit to be all the time putting the effort on security. But we are happy to have these two audits pretty soon now. So you already mentioned that we are working to in parallel to have that staking functionality in place and bonding in place. So yeah, probably beginning of February we should be having those open increasingly to the public. And something we are very excited about is the hiring we are doing. Probably some of you in the audience, you will end up participating actively as part of the community or even as part of the Min Labs. And there's a lot of people asking what's coming up, and there's so many ideas we have. But they only have like 24 hours for each of us, and sadly, a big chunk of those hours we need to spend recharging batteries. But that is the reason we are so excited about bringing in new, fresh people to help build these amazing ideas you have and you are sharing with the community, and you will be driving through our Minda. So yeah.
Also,
yeah,
Adele, thank you for that. Also, I just wanted to kind of freshen out that we've been working on the preparation for our bug bounty program, and again, like some of these things don't depend on our schedule alone. They depend on the schedule of the the partners that we're working with. But it's also looking like we will be able to launch the bug bounty program even before we finish those V2 audits that we have. So I'm gonna also say like sometime halfway through February, give or take. We were hoping that we would get those things earlier, but hiring people and getting them onboarded and getting them through the right security checks and KYC and all of those things to make sure that they are that they're good, and it's prime and it takes time, but it is an investment in the future. So as we expand the team, expect a lot more kind of specialization in different areas. So like ultimately, this is an investment in the future, which is phenomenal. All right. If neither of you, Tariq, I don't know if you want to. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. I just wanted to add something related with support. Basically, we added this week a new ticketing system in our support channel and app support, where if you guys have like any troubles, questions, you can go in there and create a ticket. So and we will have someone from the support team answering that like fairly quick. We still have the help center that you can have access to, of course, and report tickets there. I would kind of like suggest that if your question is like something that fast or quick or something that can be answered like that doesn't require investigation, maybe going through the ticket tool in Discord, it will be this, you'll get a faster answer. But if it's something that you send funds from one place to another and you're not sure what's going on with them, what's happening, and we need to investigate that, then just go to the help center and we'll follow a more in-depth process there, or more detailed process, right?
Awesome.
Keep in mind also that we have our documentation updated. We have the roadmap there, and you can find the link right in Meanfi. So if you have questions like, oh, I don't know what the transfer does, or what are the fees that are being charged for this or that, you can just go there and get a lot more information about it. Because sometimes we get tickets like that. Yeah. So those questions are already answered there.
Yeah. We're making some adjustments also on that, like Maylene said, and like the tooling that is available for the community and for the users to get their questions answered. You will see that evolving little by little. It's already evolved quite a bit. So, but lots of development almost on every angle of the organization, which is phenomenal. Tariq, anything that you want to add to the conversation before we jump into the AMA questions?
I think Tariq was having problems with his mic because I was chatting with him this morning. Right? I was like, "Hey, it would be great if you can participate in this."
All right.
The presentation.
Not a problem. Let's go through the questions then.
Questions too. questions.
Let's see. I'm gonna pick one. Mylene, you pick the next one. Adele, you pick some, and then we'll kind of like go through. Help me out here. The voice is a little messed up. Let's see. Arabian Horses asks, will the money streams feature be used in the distribution of another token in near future? And if it will be used for this, will meme holders gain any kind of benefit through this engagement? That is a great question, Arabian Horses. So the short answer is, so it is already being used for other tokens distributions. You just saw it at the beginning. We talked about Grape. We have a few more engagements right now that are happening at DAO levels and not even at DAO levels distributing their own tokens, but we have a lot more customers that are just making payroll salary payments directly. Okay, so what that means is that not all the protocols that you see today in Solana are DAOs. And like, as a matter of fact, not most of them are not DAOs. Most of them are just like normal, good old companies where people receive salaries, and those salaries are usually in the form of USDC or USDT. And those things are also are getting streamed using money streams as in the form of payroll treasuries. So I think that your question is more around like token distributions and well, USDC happens to be just another SPL token. It just happens to be one that is paired or that is stable. But short answer is like we have, I mean, at this point, hundreds of thousands of money streams going out in the wild, and the ultimate benefit for meme holders. So holding meme right now, or holding meme alone is not going to give you benefit, but staking meme will. And for those meme stakers, you're going to get a redistribution of the earnings of the protocol. So 40% of all of the revenue that is allocated to the community treasury goes out and gets redistributed back into the holders, the stakers of meme. So it's a huge incentive that you essentially get paid back a portion of the community treasury for securing the network and for securing the stability of the token itself. So that is the threshold that we have set up right now, and none of these numbers are permanent. If the DAO ultimately votes that we need to change that thing, we will go through and change it in the future. But at this moment, that is what it is. So short answer is yes. However, because staking is not live yet in production, we haven't done any distribution to stakers yet. Okay. Mylene, what do you see next?
I'm seeing some questions here related with like if when we're gonna see when do you think that the market will be green? I'm like, we don't know about that. I'm like, we really don't know. Neither we give like investments or financial
no investment
advices. Yeah.
No financial advice.
We
want it to be green
here.
too, okay? Like we are all investors
sure.
here, okay? Like, make no mistake.
I think just a matter of having a bit of patience right now. Like
I think you just need to chill. Like don't count your losses. You're like I was saying this at the beginning. I don't know if it was before we started or after, but when I hear people say, "Oh, I've lost like 50% of my value," you haven't lost anything. You only lose if you sell everything you have and you liquidate everything into fiat.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you lose. Okay, there hasn't been any. Like I think there was only 1 year, 2003, where there was a specific 12-month window where you could have been on the negative side of crypto. That's it. Like 1 year in the last 12. So like the odds are in your favor. Just hodl, man. Like that's it. Like,
Yeah. I see a couple of questions here that kind of relate to the same thing. One of them being, what are the major development plans? And another one is any new feature we're going to see in the next days or month. So first, let me refer to something, and this is documentation. The roadmap is in our documentation Meanfi. So every detail will be there, and we're using it as a force to guide ourselves through what are we delivering, features, or so on that we're working on. So we talk about the staking pools, and we talk about the business vaults multi-signature. So in case that you weren't here when we mentioned them, that's kind of like our focus on the product side in the coming weeks. So that's
can you expand a little bit on that, or you, Adele, on the vaults, and what is it exactly that we're building there and why?
Yeah. So again, security is a key aspect here in everyday operations in crypto. So multisigs will provide a new level of security for so many applications, not only to our programs, but anybody can benefit from this kind of securing their own programs and their own operations using our multisig once it's open to the public. But I wanted to add to what Mylene just mentioned that another aspect in which we've been spending a lot of effort is developing the staking functionality. So there's a lot of you that are here committed truly committed to the project, and we want to give you the opportunity to keep supporting the project, and that's why new development is also about the staking piece. So we already said, but I see some people still asking. Beginning of February should be the kickoff of this functionality open to the public.
Let me add some color here, Adele, if you don't mind, to the vaults. Because it might not be readily apparent.
Okay, I was going to explain something.
Oh, go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah, and maybe you can, of course, add more stuff to it. But kind of like just to explain, like, what is a vault and what will be the benefit of having one. Like the initial thought was to use multi-signature vaults to kind of like corporate control the funds and to make it transferable. So, for example, let's say that you create a vault that you wanna, or you can invite to that vault trusted individuals that they can co-sign certain transactions or actions like withdrawals, for example. So basically, instead of having a single transaction that goes out to individual people without having required approval from anyone, this will put create some sort of trust between several people to co-sign a specific transaction. And that's one of the main uses that it would have. If I can see it as a personal level, for example, let's say that you have your partner and you want to create a specific vault to set aside funds or budgets for specific things that you two want to do together. That's the way that you can also, at least that's the way I see it, right? Then I can use it or secure those funds and make sure that they're used for the intended purpose in the partnership with somebody else. So I kind of like, that's what I wanted to add for the vaults. And I don't know if anyone can, if it's clear for everybody in that sense.
Yeah, I think, just one more note to add there. Today, this is happening already all across Solana. The Serum multisig program is the de facto standard that everybody uses to do this thing. However, the Serum multisig program has a very basic type of UI, very basic type of user experience, and it's not clear to non-technical people using it how it's meant to be used, what is the process flow that you need to follow, how to actually evolve the permissions that you're trying to execute through the Serum multisig. So what we have done is we our own multisigs and our own vaults are an extension of the Serum multisig. They're not a replacement for it, they're an extension. And it gives additional functionality, and it makes the entire process a lot more human, I should say, right? There's a lot of thought that was given into the way that you manage your multisig, in the way that you manage your vaults, in the way that you initiate a process to withdraw or to make a deployment or to ask for permissions that require multiple people to agree to what is being done. This is extremely important and super critical for when you're working in a team environment, such as a DAO, and you want to guarantee or you want to secure, specific treasuries or specific funds that are being approved to be spent on certain areas. You don't want a single individual to have access to those funds because that puts all of the risk on that individual. The minute that you have then 3 individuals or 5 individuals that are the co-signers of that, no one individual can take the funds and run away with it, right? And having clarity as to who signed what when, it's what our own mean multisigs are all about. It's clarity in the process, is making sure that everything is kind of like super transparent, easy to use, easy to understand, and that anybody can follow the flow. Okay. We have a ton more questions, guys. Look, we should move on here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions that you guys have seen here that we need to answer? Can we have more detail on the staking story, please? Yeah, I think that we've talked about that quite a bit.
Yeah.
Any new feature we're going to see in the next months or days? We already said a bunch of them. We talked about staking. We talked about multisigs. We talked about the vaults. We talked about the protocol on liquidity. So yeah, a lot of those things. Can be patient. People are talking about it everywhere. Alpha leaks. Wait for it. I'm not sure what that means.
There's some people asking for if they can still level up in the community engagement. I don't know if.
Yeah, so levels are here to stay, guys, right? So, and I know that Tariq right now has the mic. It's a little messed up, but the leveling system is part of our governance and mean power evaluation. What that means is that the way that mean power or voting power gets calculated, I feel like I'm almost saying this on every single AMA. We have documentation about that. You can go through and read on it. But it's a 70-30 system. 70% of the voting power comes from your basically the token holdings or the token holding derivatives that you have. And when I say derivatives, I mean like we're counting, or we're going to be counting the raw token holdings that you have in your wallet, the raw mean that you have in your wallet, plus the mean that you have deposited in a liquidity pool. We have certain white label liquidity pools that are going to be counted at some point. If there is another one with enough depth, we will bring it into it as well. But a certain subset of liquidity pools that we're going to be counting, plus all of your C tokens and V tokens that you're going to get as part of your staking. So if you are staking, you're going to get a specific kind of token back into your wallet, and we're going to count those as well. And those are going to have an intrinsic value that basically degrades with time until it gets paired 1-to-1 to the number of mean that you deposited in that staking program. So like all of those things get accounted for, and those things amount for 70% of your voting power. So suppose that your voting power is 10, 7 of those points would have come from your token holdings. The other 30% of your voting power comes from the merit and reputation system. That is the combination of levels and skills that you have here on the score, right? So the higher the level and the more skills that you accrue, the higher your skill level, the higher your things are going to be. If I'm not mistaken, I think that most of the skills got reset after IDO or after the airdrop, and that's because the last thing that we want is to continue to perpetuate the bad habit of those airdrop hunters that we had. We had a lot of people that were here not because they care about the project, not because they care about what we're building, but because they just want to grab a little bit of airdrop, and that's fine. That's kind of hard to weed out, but now we're really interested in people that want to contribute to the project because of the benefits that they're getting out of it, because they're getting compensated through the DAO, because they believe in our mission and our vision of being the equalizers for everybody across the world. So like those people are the ones that we care. And if you're one of those, start contributing. You start earning roles, you start earning levels, and that will help you a lot in that other 30%. Okay.
Yeah, I think that Chibu made that pretty specific there answer. He was like, be active, participate, and win events. That's it.
That's all you have to do, and that will contribute to your merit and reputation score.
Yeah. Someone is asking about explain more about app support and what are the criteria. I'm not sure if that refers to
app support.
Yeah, I'm not sure we're talking about like the tool that we put in the ticketing tool that we put in the app support channel. Who's answering those tickets, or I'm not sure if they're talking about that. Like I'm trying to. If that's the case, basically Pavel and a few of other community members selected by him and part of his support group are the ones answering those the tickets that are coming through that section. So I don't know if it's that what I meant with that question.
If we don't know just try to rephrase it. I have another one here that I think is a good one. So it says. Is there any conditions? This is Masood is asking. Provide a description for community programs that are not related to trading, and also the conditions of memberships in the DAO. So these are kind of like two questions in one. For the first one, I'm going to deflect that to the ambassadors. They have been organizing all of the events and community programs, and I would. I'm nobody to determine what are the things that are being organized there. I would suggest that you kind of reach out to them. Unfortunately, Tariq had the mic messed up today, but I think most of them would rather that you write about it. And if you have some ideas, I'm sure that they will be welcoming. Regarding the membership in the DAO, so I think and I want to make a distinction here about what is DAO membership mean? And traditionally, there's a lot of DAOs that being a member of the DAO, what it means is that you have to get voted in to be a member of the DAO by the current members of the DAO. So it's a little bit of like, the ambassadors that the ambassadorship for us, like not everybody can be an ambassador. The ambassadors need to decide who is the next ambassador that they want to vote into the club. So that's the way that most DAOs work. But being a member of the DAO means whether or not you can vote. Those are kind of like two different things. If what you're asking is whether you can vote or not, even if you carry a single meme token, you will be able to vote. I'm going to say more. Even if you carry 0 meme tokens, but you have a tremendous amount of participation here, and you have enough levels or enough skills, you will be able to vote because you have that 30% that we discussed before that entitles you to vote on the decisions of the DAO. You have a much lesser voting power than one that has both skills levels and token holdings, but that still entitles you to a vote. That's number one. The second thing is if what you're referring to as membership of the DAO is leadership in the DAO, like helping drive decision making or helping drive MIPS, mean improvement proposals, You know, there's going to be two kinds of those things that we're going to set up. Either someone that is above certain threshold level of mean power, like if you are in the top 20 percentile of the mean power across the board, from someone that has 1 mean token to someone that has 1 million mean tokens, those that are in the 20th percentile, I think it's 20th right now. I don't actually remember. We'll have to go back, open up the docs and look it up, but it is in the docs. Those who are, I think, is in the 20th percentile, are the ones that can submit new MIPS, right? And if you're not in that 20th percentile, all you have to do is convince someone that is, and then they get to submit that improvement proposal on your behalf. Some of those times, convincing somebody to submit a improvement proposal means having a discussion here, open in Discord. Getting everybody to participate, give their opinion, and if there is enough interest from enough areas, I know most of, like, you're gonna have a bunch of ambassadors and a bunch of of the leadership that are going to all individually or collectively be able to submit improvement proposals without much of a hitch. And then you'll have people that are self-made all the way into the 20th percentile of that, and they will be able to do it without asking us for permissions. That's the whole idea of the DAO. Everybody can do it. All right.
Yep.
All right. What else, Michelle? We also use VPN. Oh, Hamed is talking about Iran, I think, that you also use VPN. Yeah, I don't know where you connect from then, Hamed. Yeah, good point. So maybe you are that, probably people from Iran, also are being recorded as from a different area. I'm not sure what is the most common connection point from Iran. There is another. Lycan is reminding us here that there is some of the things that are being organized are AMAs in individual languages, in like specific languages. So we have an amazing group of ambassadors. I think right now there's about like 28 of us that help with the community, and we have people from all around the world. And sometimes people are not that well versed in English, which is our native tongue, or a second tongue in my case, but it's the most international, and they feel a lot more comfortable in their native language. And we have already multiple AMAs that are being organized often on like sub communities that are language specific. So keep your eyes out. I think that we have multiple channels right now in the international section. We have a ton of different channels. We have like 10 or 11 channels on specific languages. And if you don't see yours there and you feel that there's a big and vibrant community, ask any of the ambassadors or mods, and we'll be able to create one for you. NFT.
I see something interesting here. This is going to be really quick. I think someone is asking about how about designing UI for the app and web platform. Like if that person was looking for is to give a proposal of a product design or something like that, just reach out to me directly so we can talk about it. I think it's crypto coinism or something. I think it's crypto
so right
coinism,
now,
Meanfi something. Yeah, we hire people. So reach out to us. You can reach out to me directly.
Pavel-san too.
Pavel-san.
Yeah. So Pavel-san and Mylene are handling all of the product and support group. Okay, so they like between the two of them, you have a pretty good surface area to resolve anything that you want related to product or related to support. When it comes to product, by the way, like whether you want to be whether you're looking for a job, like more on a more permanent basis, or you just want to contribute, like you're able to do both, and you should get the proper compensation if we end up using your stuff, right? So we have all the time a ton of different designs and a ton of different things that get submitted and get sent to us. If we end up using some of those in the application, and you are one of the people under consideration, like 100%, you'll get some rewards and distributions from us. Okay. All right. It is 10:55. We have another 5 minutes. Let's make sure that whatever we pick here, makes for good. More features will be released in time. Anything else in here that we can tackle in this last 5 minutes?
That talk about auto staking system and stuff, like just giving some product feedback or suggestions with regards to staking.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think we covered.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot of that already.
Yeah.
I'm scrolling through here. Just chill out. I'm excited. Thanks for clear speaking. All right, that's probably not me because my voice is not clear today. Setting about typing something. I think I'm going to call this a wrap. I don't see anything. I don't see anything new here. Thanks for answering the question. Any plans on adding meat to Franxian and or Tulip? All of those are permissionless systems. You can go and add it yourself if you want, Kinder. There's nothing special that we need to do with them. Your responses are more like spam, just to level up rank, not as efficient guide to basic users. I'm sure I am spam? Who's spam here? Sam Radfar. Yeah, I'm not sure what he's referring to. All right. So I'm going to call it a wrap. I think it's been a very productive AMA. Hopefully we got a bunch of your questions answered, got a little bit of a heartbeat of what's going on in the community. We have 160 people listening. Let's make sure that we all continue to support the project. We're building some things that are for the long term. We're thinking with a long-term mentality. Same way that you need to be thinking about the market and about your life. You don't plan only for tomorrow. You plan for the 70 years that you have to live, 80 years, 100 years that you have to live. So for us, this is a very long-term play. We want to make sure that we are that we are always thought of as the place that people come and land here from traditional finance to to get inducted into the crypto world, and to that extent, I think that we have phenomenal roadmap, phenomenal team that is growing tremendously. I see Pavel San join here. How you doing, bud? And a phenomenal development, a phenomenal community. So thank you very much for your support once more. And before we wrap up, Pavel, do you want to add something to the conversation here?
Yeah, just super quickly, just wanted to thank everybody for some of the feedback they've been giving, and also willingness to look for ways that we can improve. There's going to be more opportunities in that regard coming up very soon, and I'd just say that it helps out a lot, and together with that feedback, it makes the product better, which I think we all benefit from, and users get to benefit from as well. So just wanted to thanks for that, and the hard work. Thanks to the hard work on the team, working through some challenges. You guys are great.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Alrighty, guys, it is 10:59. You know what I always say. Thank you very much. Go out, smell the roses, kiss your loved one, and let's fucking go.
Let's do it.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Later.
Have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.